Good morning, everybody. This is Melody Reels at the Iowa Quilt Museum here in Winterset, Iowa on a Thursday morning, 9 a.m. On the nose, look at me. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful week and staying warm. It has been really cold here in the Midwest. Quick updates, and then we'll get to our quilts because we're gonna do 2 quilts today. Quilt updates, Diane Murtha had her first class in her 3-part lecture series, online lecture series. And that was last week, and it was really great. If you were like, darn it, I really wanted to participate in that, there are 2 more classes, February 21st and March 21st, and they're $20 a piece, and you can get that information on our website, just iowaquiltmuseum.org. Also, and go under programs. I think it's events at the museum. Also, I just realized, I had a meeting yesterday, and I just realized I don't know if I've ever said anything on here, but we are running a capital campaign to just kind of pay down some of our debt here at the museum. And we've been doing it, I forget, since last year. I know we're only in January, but we have already made 1/4, just a little over a fourth of what we need to make to pay off our debt. But I just realized yesterday that we are only $8,000 away from paying off our mortgage on this building. And I would love, love, love for us to push that forward and get that and be able to knock that debt off of our plate. So please, 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 you could go to our website, and I should be in the donation section, but yeah, go and just give, even if it's $10, just something, just to help push us over and get us, knock that off our plate. That would be awesome. And lastly, I had something else. There's the Quilt Festival coming up. The retreat's sold out, I think, but that's not it. Boy, it just left my brain. I don't know. I had something else to update you on. Oh, the upstairs. We had a grant to do electrical work upstairs. We have ceiling fans and outlets. So hopefully by the end of next week, we will have pendant lights and maybe track lighting. And then we're just missing design walls. And that place is ready to host a quilt class or a drop open sew, or you can come and use it with some friends and whatever. Yeah, it's open to, we want to open it up to the community, and there'll be great lighting, and you have a great view of the courthouse. And anyway, that's exciting too. So that's our updates so far, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I can go on, and I don't want to do that. I want to get to our quilts. We're gonna do 2 quilts today, feature 2 quilt artists. I'm trying to decide, and they're right next to each other. So I'm gonna flip you around so you don't have to stare at me anymore. There we go. This is Redo. And when I did my little toe dip, we're talking barely the pinky toe, on these artists, they both have websites, and they both have, and they're both featured on the Manhattan Quilters Guild. But this is, I believe it's Arlé Sklar-Weinstein, okay? And I was doing her little thing, and it finally dawned on me, she had passed away in 2023. So she had finished this quilt challenge before she had passed. So I just have a little write-up that it says on the Manhattan Quilters Guild. So let me tell you about Arlé, and then we'll talk about her quilt here, Redo. So creating art in any form often results in something attractive or beautiful to enjoy. Using art, making as a political statement without falling into illustration is more challenging in my experience. I think this is talking about, this was following a quilt. It was actually like a kimono jacket she had. So anyway, and it talks about that. But let's talk about Arlé Sklar-Weinstein. Left us January 16, 2023 at the age of 91. That's a nice long life. An artist who was driven to create to her very last days. Unfazed by any limitations, she always moved forward with innovative work, adapting ideas and materials from everywhere. In recent years, she took stock of painting, prints, and other work that had accumulated in her studio, repurposing it into quilts and collages. She tore, cut, glued, stitched, painted, and quilted a series of pieces in a short time, always prepared for the next show. Her approach to making art inspired us, along with spot-on constructive criticism in critiques of other works. A visit to Arlé's studio illustrated all of the above. Stacks of paintings, framed collages, rolls of quilts, piles of fabric, photographs transferred to fabric, the tools of her art making on several work tables surrounding the sewing machine, finished work on display, and several projects in progress captured the visitor's eye. The whole house was a gallery of her work. Arlé's extraordinary generosity of spirit made it possible to believe she would be making art forever. Looking back, it seems to us that Arlé should be a verb. Think about that. We have many happy memories rushing through our minds of the gracious, articulate, brave, and joyously creative woman who embraced all of us. What an inspiration she will always be to everyone she touched. And what a gift to have known her. She was a blessing to us all. So that was on the Manhattan Quilters Guild. And then it has a couple of websites. And I will be sure to add those to this post when I get off of here. What a wonderful life to just to create and be artful for your whole life. Okay, so this is Redo, dimensions 40 by 40, pieced and quilted by Arlé Sklar-Weinstein. Boy, I hope I'm not butchering her name. Materials and construction techniques used: canvas, cotton, cloth, applique, machine stitched. Quilt story. My quilt was inspired by a snowy landscape around my home during the winter of 2022. The connection to world events and climate extremes affecting everything in the natural world were underground guides as I focused on formal compositional issues. I'm sorry about the phone. Okay, so this is Redo. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you off for a closer look after we read. I'm going back and forth. Okay, let's take you off. I have a couple people think that this looks like a cup of coffee, and this is the handle, and that's the straw, and the white is the foam. I have little boys, or I did, and I see a ninja. I see this is the piece over his mouth with the scarf. This is his head, scarf, and then there's like a little post there, but everybody sees something different. I mean, it's a beautiful landscape even, right? It's a snowy landscape around her home. So let's take a closer look at her piecing here and her quilting, which I think it's machine, right? She has like unfinished frayed pieces on these here. And then this little blue stitch that kind of comes down. Well, it comes down in a lot of spots. I like how she does this swirling around the little silver specks in this blue piece here. A lot of different textures, a lot of different fabrics, a lot of different techniques in piecing. It looks almost like she had something here and then pulled it out. I don't know, but it's here too. It's got to be intentional. Look at her. Can you see her stitching on this one? I love the blues with the white and the yellow. It's all very soothing and really relaxing. I love that little blue piece up there. There's just a lot of elements to take in when you're looking at this, and a lot of things that she did. Another unfinished, fabric here, fraying, and then it almost looks like, nope, that's her stitching in there. I didn't see that at first. From down below, it just looks like, if you were to pull out a seam and you have holes in the fabric, but that's actually, looks like clear thread almost. Is that a thing? And then in here too, around the circle here. Almost like sun rays coming down from this yellow piece here. Something blowing in the wind, possibly. Fantastic. Okay. I like these ones on these walls because I have this little landing I can stand up on and we can take a closer look. So again, that's Redo by Arlé Sklar-Weinstein. And if she passed away at 91 in 2023, she made this when she was 90 years old. Just to give that kind of some perspective. I love that. Oh, somebody says, I see a ship sailing. Yep. I love that. Okay, let's roll over. Here we go. Right next to it, we have this beauty. Okay, this is a quilt by Daphne Taylor. And again, what I'm going to read to you is right off of the Manhattan Quilters Guild website. Daphne Taylor's quilt drawing series honors her love of drawing and painting. Lines reminiscent of landscape and figure are embroidered pieces, pieced and composed within frameworks, ranging from wide open spaces to complex color fields. The rich visual language of these lines and markings is influenced and restrained by the power of simplicity. Hand quilting is of great importance in her work because it is the equivalent to the act of drawing, while the placements of fabric are composed geometrically and quilting on top of a loose, spontaneous act. Her hand responds to the shapes of the cloth, creating a loose rhythm of shadow, line, and simple, clear, and meditative. So that was off. So it says Daphne Taylor's quilt drawing series. I'm not sure if this is part of it because this is part of the Renew Reimagined, right? So let's read about this quilt in particular. Oh, and I have her website, and you can also find her on Instagram at Daphne Taylor Quilts. But I'll post her links so you can look up more of her work. So I chose these two in particular, and this one actually more so. We're going to have a full moon in a few days on April 1st. And so I thought, I'll save these quilts for when we have a full moon. And so that's kind of why I set these aside, because when I do look at this one, I see a full moon and maybe even its reflection down here. But let's read about this. This is called Repose, dimensions 40 by 40, pieced and quilted by Daphne Taylor. Materials and construction techniques used: silk, whole cloth, cotton backing, poly filling, cotton, metallic thread, hand embroidered, hand quilted. That's just crazy to me, because do you see all that quilting on there? It's crazy. Okay, quilt story. My work is about beauty and fine design in a minimalist manner. Recent quilts are a visual response to my rich interior devotion to study and reflection amid rural life. Mother Nature is my muse, a profound teacher in the studying of light, color, line, shape, and movement. This piece is the most recent of my quilt drawing series. So yes, it is part of that. Let's take a closer look, especially at her hand quilting, because you see the waves in here? And then you've got another little gold circle down there. There's a little red one there. It almost makes me think of a lens flare, like, when you go to take a photograph and the sun is reflecting in your lens and you get these little circles. That's kind of what it makes me think of. Okay, let's take you off and take a closer look at Repose by Daphne Taylor. And let's look at her hand quilting here. Oh, this isn't fabric. That's stitching. Get out. How many times do I walk past this quilt? That is crazy. I did not realize that until I got my little nose all the way up here. That is fantastic. Can you see that? I don't think the camera's doing it justice. I'm trying to get you some dimension so you could see all those threads in there and her stitching and making it this circle. That is insane. I love the use of the color thread in here, that blue turquoise. Get a sense for hand quilting. Oh, let me back up a little bit. Ugh, so it's not right in your face. But here's the waves in here. Yeah, again, this is all stitched. I sound so dumb on these videos sometimes. Honestly, who hung these? I did. Maybe it was Annette, but I'm so busy hanging and walking past these. I just don't take the time. I really love doing these videos. Get out. I'm going to point this out to somebody on my staff, and they're going to go, yeah, you didn't know that? And I'm going to be like, no, I didn't. As I'm not paying attention, apparently. Look at that. All stitched. And there's her little red circle here. Or half circle. Amazing. Okay, if this doesn't make you want to go see more of her work, I don't know. I'm gonna get off here and I'm gonna go look at more of her work. What was the series called? Quilt drawing series. She's drawing with her stitching. Don't you just love artists? Don't you just love the things they come up with? I mean, that's amazing. Okay, let's look at the back because, oh, well, that's fun. What a contrast. Good Lord, right? You have this really simple grays and then what? You can't even see her stitching really because that fabric is so crazy. There's her label. Well, that was a surprise. I'm such a fool. Okay, well, let's back up. So there it is, Repose and Redo. And come to the museum and see these for yourself. You know, it's cold outside, but it is warm in here. And, you know, if you're desperate, I can make you a cup of coffee even. Anyway, I'm going to back up so you can see the both of them. There we go. There's our quilts for the week. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed these two. They're a couple of my favorites. Well, they're all my favorites. I know I say that all the time, but it really is true. I enjoy walking past these ones in the morning. Apparently, I'm not looking close enough at them. But that's why I do these videos, and I get to look closer. All right, have a wonderful, safe, warm weekend. We are open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4, and Sunday, 12 to 4. And we're just 15 minutes off of Interstate 80 or 15 minutes off of Interstate 35. Come and see us. Come see these quilts for yourself. They are surprising. Okay. All right. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week with a couple of more quilts. All right, everyone. Thank you. Oh, hi. I'm going to flip you around and say goodbye. Goodbye.